All right. Good evening, everyone. How are y'all?
Good evening.
Evening.
Welcome, welcome. It is 6:30, so we'll go ahead and get the meeting started. We do have a quorum. If you take a look at our agenda, the first item, due to the fact that we currently don't technically have a chairperson, is to go ahead and make appointments of our chairperson. So if anybody has a nomination, please feel free to share it now.
I would like to nominate Tony Rich to be our chairperson.
Can also be a discussion as well. You don't have to just barely nominate as well.
Sorry.
I'm always looking for getting fired. It's okay.
Slaves have to
Oh,
be
so easy.
sold.
No
I'm
discussion
good
from
with
me.
that, no discussion.
All right.
All good.
Can I get a motion to approve Tony Rich as our chairperson?
Motion to approve.
Can I get a second? Fantastic.
You got to ask if any are opposed.
Any opposed?
Thank you all very much. I'm honored.
All right.
Well, you've done an outstanding job. I just can't.
Well, thank you.
Then, Tony, I'll kick it back to you. If you want to go ahead and handle the appointments of vice chair as well as
Okay.
secretary, and then we'll go into our subcommittee.
All right, I'd be more than happy to do that. So our next appointment is for the vice chair of the Milton Equestrian Committee, and I would open that up for nominations. And if no one's going to speak before me, I would be honored to nominate Carson Seville as our vice chairperson.
I would second that.
So.
Can I get a motion to approve?
Yeah, motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
And a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Congratulations.
Thank you, guys.
Absolutely. See, our next appointment is the appointment of our secretary. And I would love to nominate Nan Buckner to be our secretary. Nan has been here for several years now and works very hard, spends an amazing amount of time,
Yep.
and she is a legend in the equestrian
Oh, stop.
community. And I think she would make a wonderful secretary.
Legend in my own mind.
So, do we have any other nominations?
I second that.
If so, I'd love a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Approve Nan as secretary.
All right. Second by Shannon.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is it appropriate to say aye to yourself? Probably not.
So,
I don't know what the protocol is for that.
so next we'll do appointment and discussion around our subcommittees. Historically, we have gone either between 3 subcommittees or 4. Before we talk about appointments, I would love to just get input from you folks on if you like the idea of keeping PR, marketing, and community relations as one subcommittee, or if we have opinion on separating it into 2 subcommittees. I would open that for discussion.
I think they're all intertwined, all 3 of those things. And I don't know how you could do community relations without PR. I don't know how you could do marketing without PR. I don't know how you could do marketing without community relations.
Okay.
But that's just in my mind because I'm a consummate salesperson. I don't know anything other than sales. So they kind of all fall under the same category to me.
Yeah. The only thing I would say where my head went is PR marketing would be separate from community relations because, and Carson will probably get into it, but he's created a postcard that would be, I would consider market PR, right? Because you're
Yeah.
putting out there, what do we do?
Yeah.
Community relations to me would be us doing an activity. We're out there in the community, we're doing something.
Okay.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Well, we might be marketing that too.
Right. So maybe it
Well,
is
when
one,
I-
I don't know.
When I think of community relations, and again, I've been on this committee for, I think probably the whole time I've been on the Equestrian Committee. But community relations to me is fielding concerns from fellow equestrians, like when the helicopters with the swinging chainsaws, not necessarily any action, but just fielding phone calls and listening and
Right.
saying, gee, yeah, we'll
Right.
take this up the flagpole if we need to. With the PR and marketing, yeah, that's definitely a feet on the street kind of thing, like with Crabapple Fest and meet the neighbors. I don't really care either way. If y'all want to
Yeah,
split it
either
up, I'm
way.
totally okay with it. Don't think I'm opposed to that. I'll,
Okay,
I like it any way.
okay.
I'm fine either
Just have an
way.
extra person, keep them together and have an extra person on it.
Yeah, we could do that. I mean, I'm certainly I'm in favor of keeping it
Mhm.
simple and, and not having a lot of overlap. So maybe that's the right answer, is keep them together. But, historically, we've had, 2 people per subcommittee. Perhaps, that committee we could have extra, which is not necessarily a bad idea.
Mhm.
So you all supportive of that? Okay.
Sure.
All right. So with that in mind, Emily, I guess we need to do appointees or just have assignments for each subcommittee?
Yeah, I
All
think we can assign each other and kind of say, I'll do this, I'll do that.
Okay. Historically, Julie has, and I don't, let's see, she's coming in 20 minutes. I won't tell you the first thing she said. But historically, that's been her area of interest and passion. So I'm confident that she should stay as part of the equestrian facilities. But I'm certainly open, if anyone else, just for Mac and Teresa's perspective, maybe I can give you guys just a very brief overview of what each one of these
That'd be
committees
great,
does.
yeah.
And that way, if it's something that you you think you could really add a lot of value and you're interested in, then certainly speak up. And
I can already tell you that PR, marketing, community relations probably not going to be.
you know what? I had that
Strong
one
suit.
picked for you. I don't know why. But
Yeah.
So equestrian facilities, our big facility in Milton is Birmingham Park. It's 200 acres. It is something that's very important to the community. We have opened up the ability to ride at the corner of Freemanville and Birmingham Road. Doesn't get a lot of activity. So in this particular case, equestrian facilities is primarily Birmingham Park, but it could include any other equestrian oriented facility that the city owns. And in the future, that number may go up. And so that's really what this focuses on. Anything to do with the park or any other facility that the city designates for equestrian use in the future. So I think, Julie certainly should be a big part of that. And I'm certainly open if someone else would like to participate in that.
I'd like to do that one.
You want to do that? I think that would be great. I think you'd be really good at that.
That's a fun one because you get to organize the trail cleanup and
Yeah.
it's a great way to meet fellow equestrians and citizenry that use the trails, and that's a good one.
Yeah, I think that would be really good. So next is PR, marketing, community relations. I think we've spoken some of this. The PR and the marketing, a lot of it is social media focused on trying to get the word out around our community on all things equestrian, trying to educate our citizens, trying to really promote all things equestrian and get more people perhaps that aren't horse people to get engaged with their kids and do different things. There are several events that have taken place over the past few years that fall into this category. Meet the neighbors. I think some of you all have been to that for sure. Crabapple Fest is a big event every year that we try to, to have good participation in. And then community relations really ties into anything that would affect the equestrian community. As Nan brought up, like fireworks every year, there's a big promotion that you have done a great job with over the years, like public service announcements and things like that to educate people on the effect of fireworks on horses. Anything that really gets our community pulled together, I think would fall into that, right?
Mhm.
What else is really community relations?
Well, it kind of has a little bit to do with city stuff too, because like with my firefighter training and that kind of stuff too, I think it's just kind of a liaison between both sides.
Yep.
I was going to do that trail, how to, navigate around a horse trailer video coming spring.
Yep.
Just kind of, Emily and I worked on the equestrian facilities questionnaire that people need to fill out. And, you'll find that people will ask, well, where should we ride? And no one can tell them that. So,
Well, that's a big part of it too, is trying
Yeah.
to promote equestrian businesses around the city. One of the most common questions that has come up historically at Crabapple Fest has been, where can I take my kids to ride? It comes up all the time. And we don't really have an official answer to that. You know, we don't want to promote a specific business as representatives of the city. And so there have been all kinds of conceptual ideas that have been brought up on giving businesses around Milton the opportunity to voluntarily sign up for a small database of equestrian riding facilities, training facilities, and whatnot around the city. So I think there's a lot of really good things that go on in this committee. It's very broad in nature, but there's just a lot of impact. Nan, obviously, you've been very heavily involved. I will say that Susan Kimball and Susan Day, that have both rolled off the committee, were very deep into that.
Yeah, the three of
Um,
us, we were
And
definitely the
so
three
we
musketeers.
really do need to get some of our committee members, you know, engaged with this.
Well, that one sounds interesting to me too. There.
And that's okay.
I'm fine with that.
And that's a fine thing. I don't think there's anything wrong with getting involved with more than one committee. You know, it's great to, you know, kind of have some, you know, some areas of focus, I think, for everybody. But to put, you know, it may make sense, especially with you guys are just starting out on the committee, have the opportunity to participate in some of this and really feel like, you know, kind of feel it out and see where you might make the most impact. And then we can get a little more.
That's kind of what I was thinking also, because like, what is farm ownership?
Farm ownership,
Right.
Carson and Shannon have been spending a ton of time with that. Why don't you guys give these guys an overview of what this is about? Because they have, this past year especially,
kinda
they have
all over
spent
the
a
place
ton
with
of time on that.
So we both built farms here. Basically, we've gone through every process there is at City Hall. And so we got a firsthand view of requirements and how to navigate through that process. And it's not easy. And our, you know, the main goal, I think, for me and Shannon in this is to preserve the farms we have and make it easy for new ones to get built or maintained. And so you can go down a lot of different paths with that, with tree survey and fencing and barns. And so me and her have worked a lot on that. And we did a farm census that we can talk about in a little bit, and just trying to streamline the process, because we both took a while. So Shannon always, there's got to be a better way.
There's just a lot of inconsistencies.
Well, it seems like
We're kinda
different
trying
people
to-
got different answers on,
The
you know.
inconsistencies, that's kind of where we're trying to figure out, how can we streamline this? And
And basically what they wanted to do is kind of like put together a package for somebody that moved to Milton that was going to build a farm, that said, okay, this, you need to contact this person, you need to contact this person, here's where you
Like
get the permit, here's where you,
Yep.
you know, because there wasn't anything, and it was completely different for both of them, and the
what
hoops
we
that
were
they had to
required to have
jump,
for
and the-
permits and things like that. And so Carson's been looking into, ag exempt. Because if you're ag exempt, then certain permits don't apply to you.
Well, in theory, in the city
So-
of Milton, you have to have a permit to build a chicken coop,
So
in theory.
It's like like an SBA for Milton Farms, kind of.
A little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about almost turning this into an advisory board when it does come to ag exemptions, because between all of us, we can
Yeah, why not? That's
see
a
if
great idea.
someone's actually gonna,
Yeah, it's good
are
stuff.
they planting
Yeah.
2 blueberry bushes to get an ag exemption and then bulldozing everything? Or are they actually putting horse fencing up, or investing a good amount of money?
Yeah.
Okay, this is a true ag exemption. And so we've met with the state and Georgia Soil and Water, and I'm meeting with the city tomorrow on some other stuff we can talk about when we get down to farm ownership. But there's the city's on board with doing some incentives too, because we want to preserve the large lots. We don't want to chop the farms up and put 6 houses on 10 acres.
Yeah.
Whatever it may be. So they've actually got some really cool incentives they're willing to do. And I'd like to pair that with the ag exemption to incentivize, hey, you want to come in here and build a farm, we're going to make it easy. So that's a big deal too. And I think me and Shannon are trying to kind of put all this together and make it look pretty and easy. And at the same time, like when we talk about this postcard, that's something I think we should send out from the equestrian committee, because if they don't look us up on the website, they're not going to have any idea that.
We even exist.
Yeah.
And so this would go to new farms that are being built or worked on. Hey, here's all the things we can help you with. Like Bayless, I've sent him a lot of people.
That's a great idea. Just because the whole point is that we're trying to preserve what we have, right? And so if somebody buys a place, like, let's make it easy for them to build a farm.
Yeah.
That's the idea.
that's the idea.
Yeah.
So I think we've got a great opportunity in front of us to really have influence over our codes and our, setbacks and all kinds of zoning issues and whatnot. So
I love the idea of working with the state also, just because, if you haven't worked with the state before and you just live in a city, it feels like, oh my gosh, who am I talking to? Right? It's like this big thing.
Absolutely.
No question about it.
And they're very much on our side. The double-edged sword though here is they have high standards, and that's a good thing. Because you don't want to just let people run wild. Oh, you're ag exempt, go build a barn out of pallets.
Right.
Like you want to keep the area looking nice, which I think you can do. But then we've discussed at some point, you're gonna have people coming in here with a serious, electrical, plumbing, all this stuff that we're not really got the capability to
advise
say,
on,
oh yeah,
yeah.
that's what you need to do.
Yeah.
At that point, we'd say, you know what, I think you should take this route with that.
Let at least give you an overview
That's
of kind of what the whole idea is about.
Yeah.
I think what I would propose is let's give these guys an opportunity to be part of our discussions and understand these topics and get into the mix of it a little bit. And then you guys kind of figure out where you're going to sit. I mean, I think Julie, is certainly going to be our lead for equestrian facilities. Nan, I think you're the right person to lead, the marketing and the community relations. Carson, I think you're going to lead the farm ownership. And then, everybody else just kind of fits in and sees where you really want to jump in. You're going to hear something that's going to grab your attention and you're going to go, yep, I want to get involved in that.
Tony, do we want to revisit this at unfinished business? And if we still feel like we don't have a decision to make, we can roll it into the first agenda item of
Okay.
February?
I think that would be great.
Okay.
Yeah, why don't we do that? So,
Perfect.
so with that in mind, I would like to officially call to order the monthly meeting of the Milton Equestrian Committee for January the 10th, 2024. As I call your roll this evening, please confirm your attendance. Nan Buckner,
Here.
Teresa Jarmus. Did I
Here.
say that correctly?
Jarmus.
Jarmus, okay. Mac Plummer,
Here.
Shannon Reagan Quidley,
Here.
Carson Seville.
Here.
Julie Shannon is en route. Tony Rich is here, so we do have a quorum. Would everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all. Our first item is to approve the meeting agenda. If anyone has an amendment to make to the agenda, please make a motion to do so. And if there are no amendments, can I please get a motion to approve the monthly meeting agenda as written?
I would like to make a motion to approve the meeting agenda.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion to approve the agenda from committee member Buckner and a second from committee member Plummer. All in favor, please say aye.
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 All right, the agenda passes. Our next item is the approval of past meeting minutes. Assuming everyone has had a chance to review the minutes from last month's meeting, can I get a motion to approve the meeting minutes from our December 2023 meeting?
Make a motion to approve the past meeting minutes.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All right, I have a motion to approve from Councilmember Seville, a second from Councilmember Reagan Quidley. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The meeting minutes for December are approved. Emily, do we have any public comment tonight?
We do not have any public comment.
All right, in that case, we will move
Come
on.
on, Greg. He likes us.
Yeah. So next on our agenda are our subcommittee updates. Item A is equestrian facilities. Do we have any public comment related to equestrian facilities?
We do not.
All right. Our lead historically for facilities is not here tonight, so I don't think we have any updates on equestrian facilities, and we will move on to item number B, which is our PR marketing and community relations. Do we have any public comment for that?
We do not.
Perfect. Dan, would you like to give us an update?
Well, I think the biggest thing is I've been working with Emily. She's created a logo
Would you like to see?
for
Yeah.
Meet the Neighbors, and
Great.
it's smashing. And I think you guys are going to like it.
Oh, I
Oh, yeah.
love
Oh, that's cool.
Look at that. That looks great.
So I think that, that's going to help a lot with the marketing and getting the word out. We really just want to expound on what happened last year. The turnout was like triple what we expected. So
Yeah, absolutely. And as a reminder, this has become one of our official city events. So it falls under myself. So Mac, Teresa, I'm our community outreach manager. So I handle all of our community events, our community relations here within the city. So I made the push to make Meet the Neighbors one of our official city events. It's on April 13th. It's a Saturday. It's from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's also on your calendar of events that was in your agenda packet. So I think what we planned last meeting was that we will find a time with the PR subcommittee and myself to meet together and kind of come up with preliminary discussions and some timelines and kind of figure out what this looks like. So hopefully that will be coming towards the end of January.
And this logo is going to appear where?
It'll appear on the banners that we print. It'll appear on our social media sites. It will appear on our Facebook event. Anywhere where Meet the Neighbors will be publicized, this logo will appear.
Great. Be a
I
nice-
just love it. I love how the artist like even put eyelashes on the horses. It's great.
Be nice to get some T-shirts with that on.
Make that
Maybe
happen.
this should be our logo.
Yes.
Oh, gosh. Wasn't there some talk about, oh, no, that was the city.
I meant
That's a
our
big one.
committee.
Our committee logo? Well, I think that's
It is
something worth
cute.
discussing.
Yeah.
So I like it a lot. It's really, really
I
well
like it a
done.
lot too.
Yeah, nice work from everybody who put
I
something.
think the only
in there.
thing I'm going to change is now looking at it, it does need the Milton logo on it. So people don't
Oh,
think
it's
it's just
got
some
one on
random
the
event.
bottom.
It's at the
You've got
bottom,
it
isn't
across, on the banner across the bottom.
Well, so just the center, the circle part is just the logo itself. This is our letterhead for our presentations.
Oh, gotcha.
So
Okay.
I'll probably have them either add it like underneath the fencing,
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
just, make sure that it's branded Milton.
There's room for it, so.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, the fencing looks nice and I mean, it's got 2 horses. I think it really is well done.
It's shaded. They're meeting
Right.
over the fence like neighbors do. I just love it.
So cute.
They're not biting at each other. It's perfect.
Doesn't have a backwards
Exactly. It's a
hawk.
win.
Doesn't have a what?
It doesn't have a backwards hawk. The knees are in the right place. It's all good.
The one on the right's a gelding, so that's good.
Yep, true. Good eye there, Tony.
Well, great. Well, that sounds really, really good. Any other updates from your subcommittee?
That's the biggest thing. The only other thing is, I'm still kind of in a quandary about, I talked to Greg briefly when we were getting sworn in at the city council meeting, losing my communications video contact is just devastating. And Greg said that there was someone being interviewed to take over that role. They had several candidates. So I'm just kind of waiting to hear from Greg. And then I told him also that I would ask the equestrian thing with him, try to get more stuff with that. But other than that, I mean, January is such a dead time.
Yeah.
For community, everybody's quiet. No one's complaining about horses laying in the pasture sleeping and wondering why we blindfold them. So.
Exactly. Wondered, I had all those questions. So I completely understand that. Okay. Well, good. Is there anything else on this
Fly
subcommittee?
masks.
Yeah.
No, people go, why do horses have blindfolds?
Oh.
Well, they're fly masks.
See.
And no, they're not dead. They're sleeping. Yeah.
Okay.
There are some times though, have you ever like panicked though for a minute and
Oh,
go
yeah.
running into the pasture? Cause I'm like, you haven't moved.
You're looking
and,
for the
like,
heave.
Yes. I'm
heaving of
like,
the
is he
sides.
breathing? And then I go flying up there and.
Or the flick of the
Oh, yeah.
tail from the
Yes. Yeah.
flies.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Everybody's had that little heart attack.
No, anyone who owns a farm on a busy road will always get the call.
Mhm.
One of your horses has died.
Yeah,
No.
like
there's-
weekly.
Usually once a year
Yeah.
for us.
As if you wouldn't know.
Yeah, as if you wouldn't know. Good point.
It's still there tomorrow. Call me again.
Yep.
So, all right. We will move on then to item number C on our agenda for farm ownership. Carson and or Shannon, do you guys have any updates for us?
Carson has a postcard. That's cool.
Yeah, I'll pass this around,
That's
but
very
I
cool.
just thought about that. I mean, we threw this together and this is very preliminary, but I was just thinking about it. And when we do have somebody, like maybe Shannon sells a farm or someone's building one like Chris Green, and we could mail this out or put it in the packet. And we can change this however we want to. This took about 3 minutes to put together, but
This is fantastic.
it just kind of would say, hey, we're the Milton Equestrian Committee, and these are the items we can help you with. Come to one of our meetings, reach out to us.
Love it.
And
It's beautiful.
That sounds awful, community relations.
And just the bullet points. Well, there's an overlap there. I mean, just the bullet points, simple to the point. That's terrific.
No, I like it a lot.
Yeah, it's definitely
That's a great idea,
marketing,
Carson.
Carson. I don't
Yeah.
care what you
Great
say.
idea.
That's definitely marketing.
I like the forward thinking. We're already telling them we have ag exemptions. That's great.
Yeah.
yeah, we're not sending that out anytime soon. But if we, I mean,
Yeah.
Shannon, what all you want to cover tonight? Because I'd like to fill in Mac and Teresa, I guess, on.
I think on
one
our
of the-
meeting, yeah.
That's a great
And
idea.
on the meeting that we all had with Carol and
Do that.
Juliet.
Oh, you guys had a meeting?
Yep. When was that?
December, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was the week before Christmas, maybe 2 weeks before Christmas.
Ooh.
Go ahead and give these guys an overview, and I can tell you exactly when it was. Go
Oh,
ahead.
it's not important.
I know. I'm just trying to remind myself when it
Go
was.
for it, Shannon, or?
Yeah, I mean, we sat down with them and we just kind of did a little bit of a roundtable as far as what we were trying to accomplish, which Carson explained a few minutes ago. We sat with them and they're very much on board with supporting us. And they would actually like to get together and do a larger round table discussion with other members. And so I think that getting them on board is going to help propel this a little bit. So, yeah,
Yeah, the ag exemption term is a touchy
So
subject
broad,
up here
yeah.
because there has been people that have taken advantage of it. And while it doesn't exempt you from the Clean Water Act of silting up a creek, you could essentially come in with an ag exemption, which is a state law, and get around doing an LDP. Y'all familiar with that? So it's a land disturbance permit. So it's 3-phase erosion. You got to put fire retention in and all this, a lot. I mean, a whole engineering plan, an ag exemption would allow somebody clearing land to just, like on Birmingham, you know, when they
Bypass
cleared
that
the
all.
land up here past the elementary school. So that's an ag exemption. It's one of like 5 that's ever been done. But he still got his best practices, which you're required to do. And then Georgia actually has a 60-page pamphlet that we could hand these people. Hey, you're still required to do these things, but you don't have to go through all the loophole or the hoops of just, you're not building a Walmart, you're putting a pasture. And so that's kind of what we're trying to navigate through, but at the same time, making sure someone doesn't take advantage of it, which we've seen firsthand. And then the city's put in a tough spot because the neighbor's sitting there saying, well, I used to have a lake and now it's full of silt. My fish are dying. And so we want to make sure we go through it carefully. And that's where we, in that meeting, I think, came up with, well, hey, if we were an advisory board to staff, hey, we've looked at the layout, we've talked to the owner, they presented to us here, we think this is a good option. Or, hey, we don't believe this is a true ag exemption. So that's kind of that on the ag exemption part. And even barns would fall under that to an extent because the word farm structure and buildings is in the definition. And it's really, you could have an ag exemption for goats or technically blueberry bushes. You could say you're a blueberry farmer.
Or
but-
peacocks or chickens or.
But that's and you don't have to show income either. But you don't want someone to just go buy 3 chickens and say, I'm ag exempt, I'm clearing 20 acres. So I think they're going to use us somewhat as an advisory board to work with staff on that.
Yeah, and another thing that got brought up is, when you are building a barn, you'll go in front of the design and review board, and if you had to change your zoning, which we did, you go in front of the zoning committee. And a lot of times, or actually in my case, there was only one person on the committees that knew much about horses at all.
That's what I was
And
going to
so
ask
you
about the
have
design review
people who
board
are
as it relates
trying-
to barns.
Right, and so sometimes there's people that don't really know exactly what will and won't work.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's where we would come in. We'd kind of be able to field and maybe advise them, like design and review board. you know, because there was somebody that wanted to deny our barn the setback because he said, why can't you just put it in the middle of your pasture? Why are you having to put it to the right-hand side and get a variance? Well, you can't put a barn in the middle of a pasture.
You can, but
Well,
then
you
you don't
can.
have as much pasture.
Well, not only that, but it's dangerous. I mean, it is dangerous. And so that's something that we could have knowledge on, that maybe somebody that's sitting on, you know, and so I think we brought that up. So yeah,
And I
kind of
think
serve
one
as
of
an
the biggest
advisory.
things, too, that I learned through y'all's experience too, like some of the codes that were written made people have like 12 by 12 posts, which would be like industrial for building a Walmart where, you know, you're building a stable for 3 horses. You don't need, that's kind of overkill. And so that was the biggest thing for me. I was like, oh my gosh, if I had built my barn now, they would have me spending 5 times more on materials than was necessary.
Mhm.
Right.
And I think that's the biggest thing that got me when you
Yeah.
guys were in the middle of all that.
And I'd say the last 2 things that we've been working on is we did a farm census. We basically went through and looked at all the riding rings, and this group as a whole knew majority of the farm owners here that had equestrians on their farm. And so we've got like 130 have active horses on them. We're not counting them if they all horse fencing and barns, but no horses on them. And then we've got another 50 that are cows, goats, hobby farm.
That's in the city of Milton, 130.
Well, and see, we're
130 confirmed so
constantly,
far.
we're
More.
we're constantly asked how many horses are in Milton, and no one has been able to really answer that question because we can't readily get that information anywhere.
When it changes, so I used to live at Laguna Stables. That we might have 60 one day and then 40 the next week.
Yeah,
So
could change.
No.
there's no way to do a horse census, but we could do a farm census.
You would have to knock door to door
Yeah.
to get
But it's still, I
even a
think, it
sort
would
of accurate
change.
answer on that.
So we're gonna show council that, I think, and I got it on a Google map with pins that are color coded. Okay, these are all equestrian here, and you can kind of see where they're at and where they're not. See white columns pretty clearly. So, but that, I think that'll be beneficial to show council that, hey, we've got a lot more of these than people realize. It's not just 30 or 40 farms in Milton. It's a lot.
I think I think the public would love to know,
Yeah.
like an update on that. People who don't own horse farms would like to know, who live in Milton or are considering moving to Milton. I think that's a big selling point. 130 farms, 130 horse farms, in little bitty old Milton. You know,
It's a big number.
that's a big number.
Yeah.
It's attractive, I think.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. No, you're right. And the size of the farms can range. I mean, you know, you got 3-acre farms and you got 60-acre farms. So it just got a whole bunch in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's really, it was a very enlightening effort that these guys worked on. And I'm not sure what we all expected, but I think it was a better number than perhaps any of
Yeah,
us.
I was
Does the
shocked.
census tell you like how many acres each farm is? And yeah, because I think that's another thing that people would like to know. You know.
And we were pretty conservative on it. Like, a lot of them might be chopped up. They'll have different parcels, but it's all the same farm.
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't count as 3 farms. We'd combine them and then combine the acreage,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and then there's still, I bet you, 20 to 30 we can't see from the road that are there. I mean, we'll look at the map one day, you'll be shocked at where some of these are. You would never know they had horses there.
Yeah.
But we've seen them in person. You can see them on the satellite as of this year. So it's pretty wild. So I think that'll be good to really bring that to light. And then the last thing, so I'm meeting with staff tomorrow on the large lot incentives program that they're doing. And so that's totally separate from all the stuff we've talked about. And that's where they're saying, hey, we're on board. We want farms. We want large lots. We want to keep it how it is now, which even your neighborhood people that I know is like, oh, we love the farms here. I had lunch with a guy today. He said, I moved here because of the view I have every day of these farms. So it's not just the equestrian community that wants these. That's what staff's doing with these large lot incentives is they want to remove impact fees, or reduce the tree canopy requirement, or they've got a whole list of stuff to make it easy for someone to come in and not have to have a difficult time doing it. So we're gonna have that discussion tomorrow and see what we can get to.
Who are you meeting with tomorrow?
Planning, all development team, Buscemi, all these guys. In here. You can come if you want.
I might, I just was just curious who it was that, that's involved in that.
Me and Shannon met with 8 of them.
Yeah.
8,
Gary, Bob.
everybody.
Yeah.
Pretty much everybody I dealt with building ours, and Shannon as well. So I think there's about 6 people I'm meeting with tomorrow on that. And it's almost like a interview of, okay, what were your struggles? I need to bring Shannon with me too,
When are you doing this?
tomorrow
What
too. But they want to bring other farm owners
You don't have
in.
anything going on, do you?
Probably soaking hay.
They want to bring
Oh,
others
God, are
in
you still
too
soaking
and just
hay?
interview them, get their opinions on different things. So that was encouraging because I think that would really be a big step too.
I'll come sit in on it just to hear what y'all have to say. Yeah, Carson's kind of the lead on this because he's very well-versed with this kind of stuff.
No.
It's kind of what he does.
No, you
So-
are.
No, we-
It's
me
a,
and
it's a
Shannon
really
are a
good
good
fit
team.
for
I'm
you.
very layman. I'm just coming in from the,
Yeah, but
the
you
we
learn
went
layman
through
by,
the same
standpoint.
by
process.
experience. I mean, you've lived it, so that's.
But I'm
more than you
learning
might
and
realize.
I enjoy listening, so. Yeah, I might be there tomorrow. You doing it here?
You guys got any other subcommittee updates? No?
That's it.
All right, well, good. At this point, then let's move on to new business. Emily?
All right,
looks
so,
like yours.
yeah, this is all me. I've provided a nice worksheet for you. Clearly, I should have been an elementary school teacher. Kind of listing out our calendar of events. So these are all of our regularly scheduled meetings for 2024. So you can go ahead and add them to your calendar. We traditionally are on the 3rd Wednesday of the month due to our bylaws. However, January and February are difficult with the holidays as well as our State of the City event. So we kind of had to flip-flop around. But you can go ahead and put these dates in your calendar. They are also on the city website. Moving on, the next is we do an annual Equestrian Committee update to council. Last year, it was on March 13th. It was part of our work session. So I've listed out on the screen in front of you kind of some options that I first looked at as far as what's coming up in the next few months. There is one conflict. So the work session that's happening on Monday, February 12th, I'm unfortunately out at a conference and I would like to be there as your city liaison. So that's the reason that that date is not on the calendar.
You mean the 11th?
No, of
The 12th,
February.
February 12th.
Oh,
February 12th.
oh,
She didn't put that one on
February
there.
12th, I'm out at a conference. I'm in Jekyll, so I cannot be there. But if you guys want to kind of discuss and see if, and all of you are not required to be there. I think
Right.
last year, Tony was obviously there as well as almost one member from each subcommittee
Mhm.
to give a subcommittee update. So thoughts?
Historically, the work session is a better option for us
Yeah.
because we could potentially have some dialogue with council
Mhm.
as opposed to a regular meeting, which historically was not as favorable to have back and forth. So my first reaction is we should pick a work session,
mhm.
which is really narrows it down to one option. So I open it up to everybody else's thoughts on that. But unless I am mistaken and we can dialogue with council during a regular session, I don't think that works.
Yeah, I'd like to see us do it on the 11th.
It's also slightly easier to do a work session just due to the fact that there's less on the agenda.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So the only thing that's kind of tough with a work session is sometimes if there's nothing else on the agenda, it could get canceled if there's not enough agenda items, but we normally know that by mid-February, can plan to come up with a different date. So
So the
if we want to
11th?
slate March 11th, I will go ahead and get that in the works with Tammy and my team.
Is that at 6?
Yes, here in council chambers.
Do we need to make a motion to pick that date or is that something we just,
No.
okay, good.
Okay. The next date, we also do a Birmingham Park cleanup day. We'll talk a little bit more about Adopt a Trail and unfinished business. But this could actually become a larger cleanup day as well. We have had 3 organizations adopt trails at Birmingham Park. for including you guys. So it's a very easy work day if we decide it, and we can email it out. They're supposed to do quarterly trail cleanups. So this could be one of their trail cleanup days. And it would also benefit you guys as well as them, because you can kind of educate them on things to look out for from an equestrian standpoint. So we could just make this one giant Birmingham Park work day as well.
I think that we need to take that first date because we got rained out last year and there was a bad storm that pushed us back anyway.
Correct.
So I think if we schedule that for May the 6th, just right out of the box, then that doesn't leave us with the rain date and the trails are going to be overgrown.
Correct. These dates were the dates from last year. So we had scheduled March 25th at first. So my recommendation would be to schedule one date and then go ahead and schedule our backup date now.
Yeah.
While everyone's here and your calendars.
I would tend to suggest, well, before last year, I think, it seems like, did we do April?
We did April.
April before, right? May's getting a little warm. It's nice to get out there on a halfway cool morning as opposed to,
agree.
a warm summer
Is
day.
it a Saturday or a Sunday? Because May 6th was a Saturday and March 25th was a Sunday last year.
Last year?
Historically, they've been on Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday.
So I don't know
I
those
would
dates, but-
also, just the thought, perhaps having it after Meet the Neighbors to see if one of you can host a booth to get people to sign up to come to the Birmingham Park Cleanup Day. Could be a good day to kind of get some traction to
that's-
have people
I
come.
think that's too late. You've got all the spring weeds already coming up.
That's true.
Well, Meet the Neighbors is 4/13.
Yeah.
We could do it the next weekend, but
Happy Earth Day.
what's that?
That's Earth Day.
The 20th?
Hmm.
You think the weeds are already up on April 20th?
Probably.
As soon as it starts getting warm.
420, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
A reminder that we are recording.
I'm fine doing it in late March or whatever, or early April. I mean, we don't have to wait. I mean, I think, I understand that. I think that's a fine idea to do it after that, but if we can't, we can't.
Yep.
I would suggest we do it in early April. But I haven't given 1 ounce of thought to that as far as logistics, so you guys go ahead and.
If you're hitting early April, that first week is Fulton County as well as Cobb County spring break.
Oh.
Additionally, from a staff perspective, we do have our annual community egg hunt that happens on March 23rd. So a staff member probably would not be able to be there as they'll be at the event later on in the day. So those are my only conflicts logistically. From a
You said
staff
that was
standpoint.
March the 23rd?
March 23rd, correct. And then the next
Say
two.
what that is again?
So we do our community egg hunt in conjunction every year with Stone Creek Church. So we have a big event that day.
Yep.
But we draw about 4,000 people. It's a great day. The following 2 Saturdays are those spring break Saturdays
So what is the 16th?
of April.
Oh, March?
Nothing.
Birthday.
Your birthday?
Your birthday?
Yeah,
Perfect.
yeah,
We'll bring you a Danish
right.
Birmingham Park Cleanup Day?
for the 16th of March.
Yeah,
You like that?
yeah, I do.
What do you guys think? Everybody
I
go
can
with
be
that?
there for that.
I think I could do that. March 16th? Yeah, I don't think I could.
Want to also select a rain day. In the event that March 16th does not work, the rain is poor, we will push to a date in the future.
Yeah, perhaps then we would push into April. Just whenever there's not a spring break, just do what we can.
Yeah, when
Yeah,
is,
March
when is
16th
spring break?
Private schools spring break that week.
The first week
Yeah.
of April,
March
right?
16th. No, March 16th.
Oh, it is? Oh, March 16th.
I might be out March
11th through the
16th.
18th is
All right, well,
private school spring break.
I kind of like the idea of doing it right after Meet the Neighbors.
April 20th?
I mean, I don't have a problem with that. I mean, it'll just be different dynamics of things to deal with. There may be some poison ivy popping up and we may be spraying. Last year, as Carson will tell you, we sprayed many gallons of Roundup out there. So, we
And
may
that was
just-
in May we did that?
that was May. So this would be literally about 3 weeks before,
Mhm.
2 or 3 weeks before the last time.
Yeah, and it's hot already in May.
Yeah. So what do you think about April 20th?
Second
with me.
weekend.
That as a secondary date, so
Hmm?
May 16th and April 20th, we can try and.
March 16th and
I mean,
April.
March 16th.
Well, I'm hearing March 16th is,
I'm a no-go for that.
Oh,
That's,
Teresa is out.
that's
That's
private
spring
school
break.
Weekend before,
break is, when is Easter this year?
March 31st.
Oh, it's late.
Well,
So April 20th then?
our spring break is the first week of April.
April
Yep.
20th.
Yeah.
That first Saturday in March.
So March the
First Saturday in March is the
23rd?
second of
March 2nd
That's what she was saying. She has their.
is on the 22nd, 3rd of March.
I'm good anytime in March. I don't, I've probably got a spring break somewhere. And my wife's going to tell me, didn't you know we have, it's like, yeah.
I have a horse show the first weekend in March. I will not be
Is
able
that-
to attend anything
The 2nd or the 9th?
the second.
All right, let's just go through Saturday. So the second, you've got a horse show. How about the 9th?
The 9th, I'm free.
Good.
Yep.
Everybody open for that?
Yep.
Teresa,
I think so.
9th?
All right.
I'd
March
like a
9th.
date.
Trail cleanup day, March 9th.
Got
Yep.
it.
So are we saying March 9th, option number 1, rain day as March 16th?
No,
Or
rain day would be April 20th,
April
right?
Done.
20th.
Okay. All right.
But that does start the spring break because the spring break is the following week.
Say that again?
So the spring break is the following week. So March 9th is the weekend before. So,
No, we're talking about March the 2nd, right?
I
9th.
said
9th.
Oh, March
The
9th.
Yeah, so that's the weekend of the spring.
That's when everybody just gets out for spring
So
break.
most people leave on a Friday and they
Yeah.
don't
Oh.
come back because.
Correct.
How about
So
March
part of
2nd?
spring break.
Oh, I can't
Oh,
come.
that's right. You
I
got the
can't
horse show.
come anyway.
All right.
Saturdays are hard for me to do the store,
Yeah,
so.
since when do you work on a
thought
cleanup
Fulton
day
County
when you
spring
have a
break was
store
in
open?
April.
Right.
I know, but I
Well, we may
I
just have to
want
do
to
the
come,
second
I
one.
want
When
to
is
come
Fulton?
before in
I
the
thought it was
morning.
April.
It's just,
Because
I
you
mean,
can start it early.
we could go around this thing for an
King's
hour trying to
Bridge
find a date
is
that
the first
everybody's
week of
going to
April.
do, so.
I think it's
Can
They
everybody
follow
do
the
March
same.
2nd
Yes,
other
they
than
follow the
Nan?
same.
so.
Can everybody do March 2nd other than Nan? That work, Carson?
I think we're
Yep.
gonna do
Cannot do March 2nd. I will
Alright.
be at a show.
Yes.
it. All right, I
Well,
think we're
we
gonna have to
should
do the
stick with
second.
that.
And maybe it'll get rained out and you come to the next one.
We horse show in the rain, come on.
No, I mean the backup date.
Oh, your backup day,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay,
What's your
got it.
backup day? Do we have that
The
yet?
20th of
April
April, right?
20th.
Correct.
Yep.
All right. So then the final 2 dates that I also have listed are, we already discussed Meet the Neighbors, which will be from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Freemanville Birmingham Green Space. I also included setup dates or setup times as well. I think last year y'all kind of worked in shifts, so we can do signups for that as well.
Yep.
Same thing with Crab Apple Fest. Historically, we have a booth, we do some information. We've kind of agreed that this year we want to beef it up a little bit and make it a little bit more interactive so we can have those discussions later on. But that is Saturday, October 5th from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. right here on Crab Apple. And I also included setup dates as well, or setup times and cleanup times as well, just to keep that in your head. Are there any other dates that we need to add to our calendar for 2024?
Not that I can come up with. Anybody else got any other dates of events or anything? I think these are the big ones.
Mhm.
So I'm glad we were able to get these knocked out early on and scheduled. Okay,
Thanks for doing all that.
yeah, thank you.
You're so welcome. All right.
All right, next item?
I also have on there, and this is very brief, and this could be kind of just minimal brainstorming, discussion on subject matter for our update to council
Mhm.
that we're going to do in March. I'll just be throwing out bullet points and I can just type them all down. Just kind of get that ball rolling.
That we're presenting in March? Okay.
But it does take a while to pull the
That's
presentation
gonna,
together.
that's gonna come quick.
I would suggest that we take last year's presentation,
Okay.
distribute it to the committee. Obviously, there are subcommittee updates and things like that we'll do. But I do think as a starting point, we take last year's presentation and start to build on that instead of trying to create it from scratch. Beyond that, then I'll certainly, open it up for any ideas or other things that you guys want to make sure are included.
Is that emailed out?
Yes.
I need to get on the email list.
That was going to be one of my next items as
Yep.
well. Have you guys received any access to your Milton emails yet? Okay. I will get all of your login information at the end of this meeting once we adjourn. If y'all don't mind just stopping with me real quick, and I can get your email address is the best one to send it to. My existing committee members as well. In the event that you do not check your Milton email addresses, if you would like for me to send any communications that I have, like I know Tony, I sent it to your Bell South as well. I think I sent it to your additional one, Julie. So if y'all want to add an email to my list, come see me after the meeting and we can kind of discuss and go through that.
The one point I'll add to that, however, is that keep in mind, when things that are related to freedom of information requests take place, any use on a personal email address
Mhm.
are subject to a freedom of information request by anyone.
Mhm.
And so our city clerk, gave us some really interesting information on that last year, that it is highly advisable that we do city business on our city email addresses. I've got my Outlook automatically forwarded to my personal email so that at least I don't have to go check that separately.
Mhm.
But usually when I send emails, not always, so, this is me practicing what I preach, but I try to send emails from my city email address.
Mhm.
Again, anything that we use our personal email address for, the chances aren't high. But if there was a freedom of information request and, we got a request to open up our personal email accounts, that may not be something that anyone wants to do. So when in
We have
doubt,
open records.
when
I
in
did not know
doubt,
that was an
yeah.
option to keep our personal emails. I thought it was, you had to have it on city email.
well, that was the direction. we went.
Correct.
Yeah.
More so of that, like, if I send it to you, to go check your Milton email, and then any response that you have to me will be through that as well.
Yeah.
So, one more date that I did forget to throw out. You all are also invited to our 2024 State of the City address. That is going to be here Wednesday, January 24th, with a reception at 6, and the actual address itself beginning at 7. If you would like to attend, if you can email rsvp@miltonga.gov, very simple, just with the names of the people who are attending in your party. That goes to me, so you can also just email.
Great. That email, that RSVP goes to you. Oh, good for you. You
It's
gotta
me.
juggle all that. Okay, perfect. All right.
At 6?
6 o'clock here in council chambers, yes.
Wonderful. That'd be a
6
great event.
till 8.
6 to 8, yes.
All right. What else?
All right. Apparently it's the Emily party today. All right. All right. So friendly reminder about our Adopt a Chill program. Our outdoor recreation supervisor, Jen Young, she is wonderful. She will probably come to one of these committee meetings soon, and she has a personality that's difficult to forget. We love her. Has really put a lot of life into our Adopt a Trail program. This allows different organizations or people or families to adopt a trail and take it on, kind of similar to an Adopt a Road or Adopt a Roundabout program, that it's their responsibility to clean it up. They do quarterly cleanup days. I was going to pull up. This is just the super brief Adopt a Trail orientation guide. And I can email this to you guys as well. It also lives on our website of kind of what this looks like for people who choose to adopt the trail. Just to the point of you've agreed to sponsor a city trail. Eventually you get a little, let's see, it probably has it somewhere in here. You get a little placard on the trail itself with your name on it, with the Milton Equestrian Committee. I think we agreed to potentially adopt the yellow trail. So this is just kind of that introduction. Tony, I can email you the form that you just sign up to agree that you're adopting the trail.
Okay. Great.
And Jen can obviously give this to you. I can also send this to you guys as well. She did want me to show you. I'm trying to operate so many different computers right now. These are the current people who have adopted a trail. If you look, everything that's highlighted in green.
There you go.
Thank you for enlarging that.
I couldn't even see it. I can see it. So The green are trails that have yet to be adopted. But if you guys know, I don't know if you know any of these people, but feel free to reach out to any of them. Again, what she was saying is anybody who's adopted a trail at Birmingham Park, we can email them out that we're going to do a big cleanup day
What's
on the
Wolf
2nd.
Lake Trail?
And that could count as one of their quarterly cleanup times.
What's the Wolf Lake Trail?
Lakapani.
Yeah, that's the one up on,
We used to call it Lackey Road.
Got it.
Hmm.
Now I understand.
I'm still getting used to that name as well. Someone says it and I'm like, is that in Hawaii? I don't know.
I know, it sounds Hawaiian.
it's a funky
Sounds
name, yeah.
Hawaiian.
So with that is quarterly trail cleanup date. So I know we do one big Birmingham Park cleanup day. So that would be one of your quarterly dates.
Okay.
And then you would just schedule them throughout the year. I think it's a great idea for you guys, especially to kind of help with some of those other Birmingham Park adoptees to know what to be looking out for from an
Mhm.
equestrian perspective.
This is good.
Yeah, it looks like they need the purple trail and the white trail to be adopted.
Yeah. And that, I think it's the blue trail that is the beast, is huge.
Yeah, it is. It is a big trail.
So that on y'all's
All right,
radars.
well, maybe we can think about ways to recruit sponsors or for folks to adopt it. That's a great idea. Okay. Is that it?
That's it for me.
Well, thank you for the update. So we have no more unfinished business. I will mention that at the very beginning of our agenda, I neglected to welcome our new members to our committee. I know I took roll earlier, but I am very appreciative that you guys have agreed to join this committee. We'll try not to overburden you with things that we ask you to do, and we look forward to having you guys have some fun with us and giving us all the wisdom and input you can. I'd certainly love to give you guys the opportunity just to introduce yourselves and give a little background on who you are and where you live. And I know where you guys live, but just to kind of tell these guys a little bit about yourselves. So Teresa, you want to start?
Teresa Jarmus. I live on Bethany Way, neighbors to me on one side. Our new council member on another.
Doug Haney.
Doug, yeah.
Doug Haney. I'm married with 2 children. My kids are 8 and 10. My daughter's an equestrian.
Fortitude with Carolyn.
Carolyn, and she's ridden at multiple places. When you were saying they were looking for an equestrian list of where to ride around here, I feel like we've hit most of them, or at least we've interviewed them. So I'd be happy to help out with that.
Good.
But by day, I'm a facial plastic surgeon, but we live on about 9
And
acres.
farmer too. You
Yeah,
guys are
we
always
live on 9
chasing
acres,
something
and
out there.
we do have chickens. We get our eggs every day. They're real
Yay.
chickens, yeah, and we love that. And we have goats, and we have donkeys, and orchard, and a lot of our own
Wonderful.
vegetables now, yeah. So but that's me. So I'm happy to help out.
We got lucky and got nice neighbors, so that's a plus
Welcome,
too.
Yeah.
welcome,
I
welcome.
like the idea of the.
No, you guys are exactly what we need, so thanks so much for being here. Mac?
Mac Plummer. I'm also neighbors with y'all, just right at the end of Bethany.
Yep.
We bought what used to be a Yellow House farm, and actually Carolyn Bell was there for the first year that we lived there. Love Carolyn, and now it's a boarding facility. So we have 3 different dressage trainers and a handful of hunter jumper trainers there, and we're absolutely full. And
Good for you.
except for the 4 stalls behind my house, which I refuse to allow people to use. And every day,
Smart.
Diana, my barn manager, is like, Mac, what about those 4? I'm like, we're good. We're good. That's enough. 43 horses. So,
Oh my God.
but I have, it was my wife's idea to buy the farm. We tried to just buy the house, ended up buying the whole farm because she rode as a child, and her granddad still has a bunch of horses, and we just love them. That was one of the things we liked about Milton when we came here, was that it was an equestrian community. I had no idea there were over 130 horse farms. And like, I've been here for 7 years, and I love that. I didn't know that.
Right.
So I think there's other people that would love to know some more details around that,
No doubt.
I have 3 kids, 14, 12, 10. They all go to Kings Ridge. So I told Doug, hey, if he could build a sidewalk from my house to Kings Ridge, because as a crow flies, it's like maybe a mile,
Otherwise, you're taking your life in your own hands to walk down there.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've ridden my side by side there a couple times.
I love
It's pretty fun on Hopewell.
You get pulled over, you can tell me a member of the equestrian committee.
Yeah,
That'll
free
do
pass.
something.
Yeah. Peyton owed me a favor, and I just told him, he's like, Mac, you're okay. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Well,
But,
highway.
Yeah, but we love it though. I think the roundabout's awesome. Because our house is right there in Hopewell. My 14-year-old daughter said, Dad, that roundabout's really working. I said, what do you mean? And she said, traffic's never stopped on the way to school. And I'm like, you're right. It's actually never stopped.
Except on Bethany Way now.
Yeah.
On Bethany Way,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, because you got to wait
Yeah.
for the people on the
First
left.
on Hopewell, but.
So when we lived
At
on
least you can't take a
Birmingham,
left anymore. That helps a
skip
lot.
Bethany, we went to Red.
Oh, yeah.
It was easier to go backwards.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
anyway, but I told Doug I know very little about horses. I'm learning about horse farms, but I appreciated him, and I'm glad to finally meet you. We've been
Absolutely.
talking about meeting for
We've
years.
been working on it.
Yeah,
I knew we'd figure it out eventually.
that's
so.
right. Yeah.
Well, you're going to bring so much to this committee. You're as everybody here who owns a farm will say, you're very well invested in Milton. And
100%. We want
you
him
are.
to stay horse farms.
yeah, you jumped in the deep end, so congratulations on that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
So we're certainly glad to have you.
baptism by fire.
That's
the way
right.
It typically works. So if there are no other items on our agenda, I would welcome a motion to adjourn.
Well, I'll make a motion that we should adjourn the meeting.
All right. And can I get a second?
Second.
Second, I have a motion from, I almost said council member, committee member. That's not a
God,
good thing.
please, no.
Buckner, and a second from committee member Reagan Quidley. All in favor?
All right.
We are adjourned. Thank you all for being here.
So is yours in Horse Farm as well?
All right, Julie, you're way too talkative tonight.